Hello old-timers and newcomers, I am Cole Scratches, and thank you for joining me to take another look at what I found. As I was perusing the found footage movie Facebook group the other day, something I do very often, I'm not just there to spam videos, I stay up to date in everything found footage, I came across a short movie called Walks in the Woods by Alessandro Valenti, and I realized Easter is coming up, and I have to deliver 3 papers on Thursday, so that's 4 days of work right out the window, and I thought I could maybe lighten my workload a little bit and talk about more of the grassroots of found footage rather than large-scale studio productions. You guys are interested in that, aren't you? I mean, this mountain of other movies that I managed to get my hands on, they can wait. Can't they? I really should have saved that setup for something else. Anyway, all you need to know about Walks in the Woods is right there in the title. It's a boy who walks in the woods in the beautiful rural Italy. But the twist is, he doesn't remember taking these walks. He found recordings of them on a memory card he'd forgotten about, and the strange events he witnessed embroils him in a harrowing mystery he wants no part of, but can't escape no matter how hard he tries. I assume. It's a short film, it can only contain so much. Either way, it is an amateur production made by one person, or 2 people. I mean, only Alessandro is credited, but there's at least one more actor in this movie. Either way, it is an amateur production made by one person, or 2 people, either way. And as always, I will be respectful, constructive, and understanding of the limitations when I review their work. So, let's see whether or not they made a piece of shit. The short opens familiarly enough with an exposition dump. This unnamed, unknown individual that is definitely not just Alessandro himself found these video clips he does not remember filming where, for all intents and purposes, he's just walking around the fields near his home. Or former home. The end credits made it very clear he moved. I wonder why. I've never been to Italy, but it seems like a beautiful place, especially the rural areas with the rough stone and mortar houses, modernized for comfort but retaining that rustic country charm. Add to this the historical building style, with gardens and grasslands moving in over the homestead. It feels like stepping into a fairy tale land, and the camera holder brings us there with him. There is something to be said about seeing the world through a camera lens. For the longest time, nothing seems to threaten the heavenly acres wherein we are taken. The walk extends into minutes on minutes as we are taken on a balmy tread through the heavenly landscape, taking in such sights as trees, and fields, and machinery, and groves, and streams, and then it gradually occurs to you the entire movie really is the man just having a walk, isn't it? Like, nothing else happens. He's just walking in a pretty much uncut circle around his house with the camera running for no obvious reason. I can think of 2. It establishes the environment, and by keeping the footage intact, there is less to suggest it's been edited. Not to mention, knowing something disturbing is going to happen makes the footage harrowing, in theory. The problem is, aside from the ominous exposition dump, there's been nothing to suggest a threat. He's just wandering through a gorgeous rural area that looks like a pretty nice place to live, actually. I applaud this attempt at making the footage seem genuine, so yeah, I can definitely say nothing strange or unusual enough happens to make me question whether or not the footage might have been staged. Until about 10 minutes in. The aimless meandering may hold more purpose than what could be assumed from the beginning. The errant sidetracks and wavering of the camera may have in fact been a natural dowsing of the terrain, searching for something uncertain, but nevertheless knowing it's there. In due time he finds it. Entering a dense grove of thickets and trees, digging in the bark of a looming stem, he finds an unexplainable note written in English. Funny thing that we are in Italy, but this intruder upon sanctity and sanity is English. There is an invasion joke in there somewhere, but I'll leave it. And then he does the same trick in the dark. Oh, fuck. Before then, he has to make his way back to his housing, and this time the walk holds a more ominous aura, as the pleasant greenery and open spaces are slowly replaced by thinning stems and barren branches, until finally we find ourselves walking through a cold, claustrophobic dry stone pathway, shifting left and right through the hillside, wherein even in daylight, horrid dangers may lurk. It doesn't. But the feeling is there, so good on them. Knowing the path by daylight, if anything, makes taking it nighttime worse. You know the lay of the land. You know the thickness of the bushes. You know where things may hide, and where there is no hiding. And worst of all, you know there is something there, watching, waiting, luring us deeper into its web of promises. We'll meet soon. Go on. Do not turn back. What a cock tease. Mayhaps the journey itself is necessary. Maybe we must chase after its siren notes for it to strike or act, because as the journey deepens, artifacts and distortions curse the image in increasingly profound ways. Aww. But as the journey nears its end, the distortions grow further, to the point of seeming as if two images are shown simultaneously. Are two video feeds interloping one another? Is it a quantum superposition of alternate realities slipping in? Is it a horrid, malevolent will acting upon the world, trapping our hero in an inescapable nightmare? Actually, no, it was very escapable. Sort of a creepypasta experience, you know, something completely senseless that makes no sense and remains unexplained. I saw someone describe this movie as sort of a blend between Marble Hornets and My House Walkthrough. That's giving it credit. I see where they're coming from. The movie is a very grounded experience that manages to feel pretty real, with the distortion actually coming across as distortion and the hypnotic monotony putting the viewer in an almost dreamlike state of mind where the unnerving suspicion of something horrid coming closer creeps in with the darkness closing in about us. But the issue is you need to work to reach that state of mind. You need to force yourself to commit to the movie and let it lull you. You need to give the movie your attention because the movie isn't grabbing it. There is nothing about the film that would make you willingly pay attention other than curiosity and unbiased open-mindedness. There's no plot, which by itself isn't an issue. I've always said plots and tropes aren't necessary for a found footage film so long as it gives one another reason to watch it, and this seems to be the pilot of a web series that hasn't gone anywhere. With that in mind, I'd say there are things Alessandro could develop here. I did like the hypnagogia that felt like reality melting beneath one's feet into a nightmare, and a web series would let him do that. But as a standalone short film, which is largely how it's been presented, there's really very little here to look into. Walks in the Woods is a good first attempt. Clearly it's made by someone who's paid attention to other web shows and learns by emulating. To an extent the short feels like Marble Hornets, but lacks its sense of paranoia because most of the film is simply too pretty and too tedious to maintain it. Most of the film comes down to waiting for something to happen, which, when it does, feels like the audience has earned it, like it's a cookie given to us for persevering this long, and it's not done well enough to look past its many other weaknesses. I sentence Walks in the Woods to a 3 on a scale of 11. So thank you all for watching. I have been Cole Scratches, and I hope you will join me again next time to take another look. Okay, seriously, is there any of these movies you want me to take a look at? Except that one. and not those.